started. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى أهله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. So Muhammad, you and I are going to inshallah conduct this session. Today I'm going to be resuming our study of Hadith 215. Last Monday we started this sacred journey where we started going through this beautiful book that Imam Al-Bukhari has put together known as Al-Adab Al-Mufrad. And this book is basically dedicated to studying the prophetic mannerisms of the Prophet ﷺ. And I raised a question last time, is that why are we studying this subject over any other? And what I was sharing with people is that because the Prophet ﷺ said, بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ, I was sent to refine your manners, to reform your behavior, to genuinely make you a beautiful human being inside out. And that's why, subhanAllah, the Prophet ﷺ in one hadith said, this seals the deal. He says, أَكْمَلُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِيمَانًا أَحْسَنُهُمْ خُلُقًا. The most complete believers, the most well-rounded believers, they are wholesome in all regards, are people who have the most amazing etiquettes and character, man. And so, not that we needed any more motivation, but the Prophet ﷺ then goes on to say in another hadith, the heaviest thing to be placed on your scale on the day of judgment will be your good manners. Wow. Amazing, man. SubhanAllah. I feel like because of this, I'm so motivated to not only study this book, but this subject. I feel like any community can use this. And we were sharing last time how sometimes people can be pious, but very petty with their behavior. I don't know if you've had any experience like that, where, someone didn't live up to their religious expectations of akhlaq.
There's always, individuals who, you see at the masjid, and they come and they pray Fajr at the masjid, and they'll pray Isha at the masjid, and they say their salams, and they're humble and things like that. But as soon as, adversary hits, or if they, come into an argument with somebody, something comes out of them that you've never seen before. And this is where these things are important, is in times of conflict or anger, how are you acting? And this is where some of these things that you learn that you're able to preach is during those times. And so there's countless times where you'll meet somebody who you knew and were respected, and then in certain situations you meet a different face. So
amazing. Barakallah feek for sharing that. And by the way, you guys, just as a disclaimer, we're not talking about any specific masjid here. Some people read in things, and we just have to make sure we give our disclaimers. You guys, last time we started studying Hadith 215, and I promised everyone that every Hadith, since it comes to us from one specific companion of the Prophet ﷺ, or at least that particular Hadith, whichever companion it's coming through, if we haven't already looked at their life, we're going to spend the time to actually study their life and be inspired. Because I love biographies, and I want to make sure that as they inspire me, they inspire y'all. So we started studying the life of Jabir radiallahu anhu. And I was sharing with the people that Jabir radiallahu anhu was a teenager, man, when he accepted Islam. The level of maturity these teens had. I mean, our teenagers are drooling over PS5, which, by the way, looks like a skyscraper. I don't know if you saw the unveiling today.
I have not.
Yeah, these are our priorities,
Yeah.
And Jabir radiallahu anhu, he has in his teen years the capacity, the time and maturity to see the truth and then accept it. And then, subhanAllah, something crazy happened in his life. His father passed away in the Battle of Uhud. And Jabir radiallahu anhu around that time is 18, 19 years old. And the crazy thing is, his father passed away, leaving behind 9 daughters and Jabir 10 kids.
SubhanAllah.
Sounds like an Irish family, doesn't it?
It does.
Big family, yo. He left behind, and now Jabir has to step up and be the primary breadwinner of the family. And that's where the Prophet kind of bailed him out in front of his creditors, became his lawyer. Today, inshallah, we're going to resume his life, and I'm just going to share one or two stories. The story I'm about to share with you guys now, this is arguably the most famous story in the life of Jabir. So famous that some of his biographers they just reference the story. They're like qissatun mashhura fil ba'ir, the famous story of Jabir and his camel. Go look it up. And they don't even bother telling the whole story because it's supposed to be that well known. So you guys, when you think of Jabir ibn Abdullah, please make sure this story comes to your mind because it's crucial. So how does the story go? Jabir radiallahu anh says that the Prophet and I, the entire army basically, were returning from a mission, an expedition. The mission was completed, and now they're headed back to Medina. And as they're headed back to Medina, they're about to approach Medina. And subhanAllah, something really beautiful about our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that whenever he's about to approach Medina and he's really, really close, the Prophet will start speeding up his camel. Why would he do that? Any thoughts? Why he's speeding up his camel and trying to get into Medina as fast as possible? And Jabir, well, we're told in other narrations because he would be so excited that home sweet home, Medina is here. Like he would see the buildings of Medina and palm trees on the horizon, and his heart is just like exploding with happiness, and he can't wait to see his family, and he's like rushing his camel so he can get in. Like those of them genuinely loved Medina and the people of Medina. In one hadith in Bukhari, we're told that the Prophet once was basically sitting down, and he saw Ansari women and children coming, and you could tell by their clothes they're coming back from a wedding. And the Prophet sees them coming, and the hadith says of Bukhari, the Prophet literally stood up in awe, and as they approached closer, he raised his hand and made a dua. Ya Allah, I love these people. Ya Allah, they are the most beloved people to me. They are the most beloved people to me. 3-4 times he said this. Like he's so authentic about his emotions. Like that's the first benefit. Because I don't know if you agree with me, with guys, expressing emotions, man, it's not easy. It's like pulling teeth, bro. It's tough, man.
It's tough, but it depends maybe on the household you grow in. But
True.
I grew in a household full of women who express themselves very much, and so you learn from practice.
That's beautiful, man. And actually, I'm glad you mentioned that the house you grew up in, because a lot of times what happens is, I mean, I don't want to speak for a particular family, but you know how the Prophet is coming home excited, happy, like he's not bringing the battle baggage back, is he?
No.
Have you seen some of our Desi and Arab fathers when they come home? As if the cloud of sorrow settles over the house, because they're bringing all that work stress, all that colleague stress, the boss stress with them, and they can't have a wholesome time.
Yeah.
So
it's sometimes hard to leave the dirty boots at the door when you walk inside.
It's tough, man. Compartmentalizing is the skill here.
Yeah.
So the Prophet, anyway, getting back to the story, the Prophet and Jabir are returning to Medina, coming back from this battle. And what starts to happen is that Jabir, mind you, his father has just passed away. Financially, he's in a really tough situation. So he can't afford the fanciest camel. And what starts to happen is that his camel starts to slow down. Camels don't come with cruise control. So his camel is like worn out and is like falling back from the rest of the army because it's so old, it's so weak. And subhanAllah, the hadith tells us the Prophet actually noticed. He actually noticed, and the Prophet slowed down until he fell back from the rest of the army so he can match up with Jabir. And then he started having a conversation. Like there are 300, 400 people in the entire battalion. To notice one person and keep up with their emotions, that's just mind-blowing, bro. It's incredible. And that's when the Prophet fell back, and the Prophet was like, Jabir, how you holding up? He's like, Ya Rasulullah, my camel's done. So the hadith says the Prophet touched the camel. In another narration, he touched the camel with his stick. And Jabir says, in front of my eyes, as if the camel sprung into action. He got like a nitro boost. And next thing you know, that camel is moving so fast that Jabir says, I had a hard time keeping my camel in control because it was getting ahead of the camel of the Prophet. Now I got to slow him down and yank it back.
Wow.
So the barakah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that's when this is crazy. Oh my God, the Prophet then he asked Jabir. He's like, Jabir, did you get married? And Jabir radiallahu anhu says, notice he's asking, did you get married? So Jabir says, Ya Rasulullah, I got married because my father left behind a lot of siblings and kids, so I needed someone who could help me manage the household. Here's a shocking part. He got married in Medina, and who doesn't know? The Prophet. Which means you can tell the Prophet didn't get an invite. How does a marriage happen in Medina and the Prophet doesn't get an invite? Like, this is like shocking to us because, our culture is to invite the entire village and the entire town. Prophet didn't get an invite. And this tells you the culture of Medina was casual when it came to marriage. Marriage was easy. It wasn't an earth-shattering affair, you know, that you gotta take a 70,000 loan for, you know, starting your marriage on the verge of bankruptcy just to impress your uncle. It didn't roll like that. It's so chill that he didn't invite the Prophet. It was no big deal. The Prophet doesn't mind. He doesn't mind. I'm blown away, man. And
wow. Yeah,
you know, halal was easy, bro.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling when people will get upset for, you know, not getting an invite and things like that. And maybe because I'm married and I know now that no offense should be taken, because you don't know what financial circumstances people are going through, and if this is, you know, this is what he's looking to spend on a wedding, then, and it's that shows you the difference between, like, you know, a leader and a boss for Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, is that he understands the culture and he understands who he's with and his financial situation, and he isn't making it a big issue that he wasn't invited, but still making sure that, I'm sure, made dua for him and was extremely happy for him being married. So subhanAllah, it's the story alone gives so many lessons on our everyday lives. Yeah.
But Sister Firdaus, by the way, if you see any comments that you want to read, feel free. Sister Firdaus had a beautiful comment. He made dua that Allah make Medina beloved to him just like Makkah or more. And subhanAllah, that's beautiful. Thank you, Sister Firdaus, for bringing that up. That's at the heart of why there was so much love, like just exploding out of the heart of the Prophet and the companions, because they never went back to Medina. Umar bin Khattab, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, their khilafah, the headquarters were still Medina. The Prophet is buried in Medina. It's amazing. You know, the point you were underscoring as well is that halal was easy. And when halal is easy, haram is unattractive. Now what's happening is that you got to be so financially straight, and you got to have every box of your life checked before you can get married. Haram's at your fingertip. And subhanAllah, that's why the Prophet said that and it's a beautiful hadith that I think everybody should memorize. He said, cheaper the wedding, more blessed it is. Hadith comes in Ahmad. He said, أكثر النكاح بركة أيسرهم مؤونة. Cheaper the wedding, easier the wedding, more beloved, more blessed. And I hope, inshallah, Allah grant us that tawfiq to do that with our weddings. So as their conversation continues, the Prophet asks him, Jabir, did you marry someone of your age? Or did you marry someone a little bit older? And Jabir says, Ya Rasulullah, I married actually somebody who was divorced, someone much older than me. So this is the shocking part. The Prophet asked him, wait, why wouldn't you marry someone of your age so you can be romantic with her and she can be romantic with you? In one narration, you can make her laugh and she can make you laugh. Like, romance is a thing in Islam. Like, you know, when we think of marriage and deen and love, we're always like thinking of arranged marriages and like just get under the same roof and like y'all will figure it out. Y'all will grow to love each other. That's the concept. Are you looking at the prophetic mindset? How forward thinking, how ahead he's like, what? Make sure there's a buzz in your relationship.
Yeah. Wow. That's beautiful.
That hadith, this particular comment, you know, it's just amazing. Long story short, what happens is that as they're having this beautiful conversation, these wholesome, memorable, these memories that they're building, Jabir will get to share with his students down the road and his kids. In this conversation, the Prophet asked Jabir, are you interested in selling your camel? So Jabir says,
he's got a Ferrari now.
Say what?
He said he's got a Ferrari now. He's not going to sell it.
Yeah, and that's exactly how Jabir felt. He's like, you know, I was kind of shy to say no to the Prophet because, you know, it's the Prophet of God asking. So he's like, you know, I try to beat around the bush, but the Prophet kept insisting, kept raising the price until I had no choice but to sell the camel. So what happened is that they head back to Medina. Jabir is still riding the camel. He goes to his family, spends time with his family, and then he comes to the masjid of the Prophet, and lo and behold, the Prophet is waiting. And the Prophet is like, you're finally here. And that's now when the deal goes down. He hands the camel over to the Prophet. The Prophet gives him the agreed upon price. And then Jabir begins to walk away. Here's the crazy part. As Jabir is walking away, the Prophet tells Bilal, go call Jabir back. So Jabir is summoned back. And Jabir is thinking as he's walking back that maybe the Prophet changed his mind. This camel sucks anyways. It's old or whatever. You know, that temporary fix the barak of the Prophet gave maybe worn out because the purpose has been accomplished. And the Prophet is like, you know, this is a terrible deal. Maybe he just wants to change his mind. So when Jabir finally caught up to with the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet said, "Hey Jabir, I wanted to give you a gift. Here's my little gift from you." And he gave the camel back and he told Jabir, "Keep your money." So now Jabir got the camel back as a
And the
gift
money.
and the money. And
Wow.
this is to financially help him because, the man's struggling,
So he paid him, and rather than making it seem like he's just kind of making him feel bad about taking money, he made a
Yes.
purchase and then gave him a gift as well.
Yes. SubhanAllah.
That's
This is
beautiful.
maintaining people's honor, showing affection. So many levels this story. This is how you look out for your people, man. The Prophet, and that's why they love the Prophet so much. One, because obviously he's a prophet of God, and the other, like, he really took care. He was concerned about them in the trenches with them. That's why they would gladly take a bullet for him or a sword. So we learned so much from this particular story. Last thing I wanted to share, and people, please feel free to share your comments as well.
Yeah, there's one comment before you continue saying how today's society is reflecting the exact opposite of this hadith, which is it's kind of sad to agree with that, but inshallah we can all work on bettering ourselves and bettering the community.
Yeah, the fire culture, as we see from the very top down. It's like purpose is done, yank, but a lot to learn there. Last thing I wanted to share with you guys as we wrap up the life of Jabir radiallahu anhu is that this story, man, it's enough to floor anyone. And that is that I shared last time that Jabir radiallahu anhu is a hafid. Hafid is traditionally someone who's memorized a lot of hadith. And we have on record Jabir radiallahu anhu transmitting over 1,500 hadith. Yet, towards the latter half of his life, we're told in a hadith, in a narration that comes in this book that we're studying, and Musnad of Imam Ahmad and others, that Jabir radiallahu anhu heard that there's another companion by the name of Abdullah ibn Unais who lives in Sham, who lives in Syria. And he heard that he has a hadith that he has been looking for. This Jabir, who already has, he has a student body of his own. He's a highly sought out speaker, teacher of his own right, who has transmitted over 1,500 hadith. Narration tells us that he took a month-long journey to go to Syria. In one narration, it's Egypt, not Syria. But regardless, he takes his long journey, goes all the way there, meets Abdullah ibn Unais, spends time with him, hugs him, exchanges this hadith, and then doesn't stick around even for sightseeing and looking at the pyramids or whatever, bounces.
Got what needed and left.
Yeah. And he took a whole month journey just for one hadith. Like, I don't know if people are appreciating this. You're traveling under the burning sun of Arabia, and camels are not exactly a very comfortable ride. They don't come with suspension, and there's no air condition and climate control, cabin that you're sitting in. 1 month long journey just to collect one hadith. This was their commitment to knowledge. For us, you just gotta get on the IG Live, bro, and tune into Sunnah Fix. I mean, that's our commitment. This is the inconvenience we have to go, man.
And even that sometimes, and I even starting with myself, sometimes are guilty of this. Is that even when it's as easy as at our fingertips, we still haven't made enough effort to read or learn about all the ahadith that are available to us.
Allah grant tawfiq, man. Allah grant tawfiq. I more than anyone else, lesson for me, my teachers always told me, when you're going to be done with qalam and now you are in activism mode and teaching mode, don't forget to take care of yourself. Because just because you graduated doesn't mean you're done. There's this whole subconscious thing that when you graduate, you're done with your studies. Now I have arrived. Now I need to teach others. No. Your well has to be replenished, because if people keep drawing from your well and you're not replenishing that well, after a while, all you have left to offer is murky water. So look at the commitment. This man is a companion who spent years with the Prophet, yet seeking one hadith is not beneath him. This is the commitment for knowledge, man, that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with. Jabir radiallahu anhu, he passed away in the year 78 Hijri, which is about 65 years after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he lived a very long life, 94 years of age, mashallah. A very fruitful life, transmitted ahadith, left behind a student body. He was a mufti of Medina. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give us that love that he had for the Prophet, the commitment he had to knowledge. Any other comments that are coming in that you'd like to share?
Yeah, we've got a few comments. This one is kind of going back to the Prophet helping all the Sahaba and saying that there's always beauty in helping people in subtle ways. And I think that you can probably back me up on this, is that there's more reward in helping people subtly and not being so open about it than being open about it.
Absolutely.
Another sister is saying that our whole life is meant to be spent as a devoted student, so
Um,
knowledge should never end. Even like you said, even the most devoted scholars and the most renowned scholars always continued to learn and always wanted to know more and more and more.
Cradle to grave, man.
Cradle to grave. Searching for knowledge was harder then and easier now, yet nowadays we aren't as committed as they were back then. So it just goes to show how far away, even for myself, how far away we are from where they were. There's so many distractions, and it's so hard for us to sit down without having the radio on or the TV on or looking on our phones or having something to distract you. It's hard to just sit and
It's
read, and
tough.
yeah, inshallah, may Allah help all of us to learn to be able to sit down and read
Ameen, ameen.
a actual book.
Ameen, ameen, yeah. SubhanAllah, believe it or not, our core academy class just finished, and I was doing tafsir of Surah Al-Hujurat. Now, I was just thinking to myself, I must have looked up like 10 different tafasir in preparation for this class, but my job was made so easy because there's a website called furqan.co. They have like 20 tafasirs all lined up for you. All you have to do is put the ayah number, and all the tafsir and the relevant passages will come up, and it's right there for you instantaneously. Back in the days, just the looking up, I mean, can you imagine, take Tafsir al-Tabari, it's 30 volumes. Now, for you to just find the ayah and the surah, that alone will take so much time. And then sitting down and copying, I do copy, paste, done. How Allah has facilitated things and made things easy, man. We're going to have very few excuses on the days, especially this generation, age of information.
So furqan.co, any ayah that you don't...
It's in Arabic, that's the only thing.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Well, we'll have to work on an English translation on furqan.co.
Yes, absolutely. It's all in Fusha, no dialects. It's straight up like classical Arabic. So that's the only thing.
Okay.
You put the ayah number, and they will give you the exact portion from that book. Man, huge sadaqah jariyah for whoever provides the service. But yeah, I wanted to share that secret of research. Alhamdulillah.
Well, if there is something, one thing, if there is like a website or an app that you do recommend that would help for myself and others to better understand or get a good understanding of a surah or of the Quran or things like that, that would be great to share, because there are sometimes, especially some of I know in Ramadan we did good explanations of a lot of the smaller surah that are in the Quran. But if there's something that people can refer to, on a daily basis that you could be able to share, that would be great.
That's a great question. I know there's an app called Quran 360, which is beneficial. I think it has English translation of Ibn Kathir. Another, Bayina TV is also a good app that offers deep explanations of each surah. I highly recommend Professor Abdul Halim's translation of the Quran. It's in a very novel, it's in a novel format, paragraph, very easy English. Yaqeen Institute just did Quran 30 for 30, and Sheikh Yasir Qadi did a brilliant series just now, Quran in 30 lessons, where for each juz he did a 45-minute session. So in 30 hours you can finish the entire Quran in a bird-eye view. Highly recommend that. Check that out.
Rather than binge watching a Netflix show, we can maybe binge watch that series.
That's right.
Brother here said Yaqeen Institute is something that he enjoys using. So
that's right.
Or she.
Retire Hulu people and get to something halal. This is how we're going to do it, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. Barakallahu feekum, you guys. Thank you once again for your contributions. Brother Muhammad, may Allah bless you. Thank you for coming in. This is such a beautiful, natural conversation. I loved it, man. Barakallahu feekum. Hope to see you more often.
Inshallah. I'm hoping that we get together sometime soon, inshallah.
Inshallah. Barakallahu feekum. You guys take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.